Water. What is so essential about water? Well, water is essential for survival in all forms of life. Not only do we need it, but the whole ecosystem and the future generations need it. It is the most basic natural asset that belongs to all of us. Yet, since everything has become a commodity in our consumer society, some corporations have extended their claws to privatizing some of our most valuable and essential natural resources, water. These business corporations sign contracts with governments to control and privatize water resources for the functioning, manufacturing, and development process of goods and services. The privatization of water resources meant that, instead of sharing them among everyone and those who don't even have the basic supply of water, they're controlling them and selling them at higher prices, making it only available to some and not accessible to others. The privatization of water is the most severe in the less developed and the developing countries, where the government needs funding and investments for equipment, and company uses this as an opportunity to exploit the water resources by what they call the management of water supply. In South Africa, over 10 million South Africans have had their water cut off since the commercialization started in 1994. In Zambia, 56% of the city Zukana's poorest residents are denied access to clean water because of the privatization of water. In Nairobi, the price of water went up by 40% after the company privatized the water supply, making water unaffordable even for those considered wealthy. Large corporations that have involved in privatizing water are Suez, which has 4 long-term contracts that involve selling lakes and rivers to the company for use. Another French firm, Vivendi, has 3 contracts. Suez has 1 contract, and as well as Bywater, which also has 1 contract. South Africa, Congo, Zambia, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Kenya, and Ghana are all under contracts of water privatization. Other countries such as Turkey, Brazil, and even Canada all exist some form of water privatization. In 2002, the British Columbia provincial government banned BC Hydro from developing new source of green power, which led private corporations to stake out more than 500 lakes and rivers for this independent power projects. These projects involves constructing dams and powerhouses, involves logging and river diversion, which causes more environmental destruction and water contaminations. Private corporations even forbid people to trespass these areas during constructions, depriving us of the ownership of these rivers and lands. Why should we be deprived of our fundamental rights to share those common goods and natural resources? Well, we shouldn't. More than 88% of British Columbians agree that water is a basic public service and should always remain in public hands. I agree with this statement in that we, the general public, should have the basic human rights to have access to natural resources like water, and the control of these resources should always remain public. The general public does not benefit from the exploitation and privatization of water. Instead, it's a small group of large corporations that benefit from the profits. Privatization not only creates a shortage of water, but also changes the quality of the water, and at the same time destroying the ecosystem that associates with it. Unlike other goods such as iron and nickel, or oil and gas, there is no alternative for water. There is no turning back.